Hey everyone, hope you've had another great week. I want to start with something I haven't talked about too much on this podcast, something where I was not financially prepared for this season of my life. Now, I'm not trying to be dramatic about it. On paper, things look fine, but watching my parents navigate their health and the challenges that have come with that over the last couple of years, it's taught me things about financial planning that no course, no book, definitely no financial advisor ever brought up. And here's what I kept thinking. Most physicians, they're not really prepared for this either. I mean, we plan for our own retirement. We think about financial freedom and independence, but almost nobody plans for the cost of helping the parents out or watching their parents age. By the time you're inside of it, which some of you are at this point, a lot of that planning just is gone out the window. So that's what today is about. And if you're in your 40s or 50s, I want you to hear this now. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Passive Income MD podcast, where we talk about creating your ideal life through multiple streams of income. If you enjoy hearing about this stuff, make sure to hit subscribe. Now let's get on with the show.
Okay, everyone. So whether you're listening to me in your car, you're watching this, whatever it might be, you're in between cases, walking the dog or whatever. I just want to say thank you for taking the time to listen and for doing what you do. I want to start today with the part of all of this that surprised me the most. And I say surprised me because as a physician, I mean, I understand health issues. I understand aging. I think we all do. I mean, I see what happens to people. In fact, nobody is probably in more contact with it than we are as physicians. But there's a difference between understanding something clinically and then living it in real life and living it financially. And here's what I mean. If a parent passes away quickly, which of course we don't ever want, the financial hit or everything you have to deal with, all the arrangements and everything, it's painful, but it's finite. And you can plan for that to some degree. But I found, even just in my own experience, what's much harder to plan for is a long, slow decline or issue. I've looked into memory care, for example. That runs anywhere from $6,000 to $20,000 a month, depending on where you live or what kind of setting you're looking for. In-home care is a lot of it's the same, maybe with a full-time aide. And this isn't just like a 6-week situation. This can go on for years. And so how many of you are actually dealing with that right now? Most people I know either don't have long-term care insurance or the policy that they might have doesn't come close to covering the cost of what this care actually costs today. And that gap between that cost and having to cover that lands sometimes on us if we're trying to help our families out. Maybe our families are in good situations, and hopefully that's the case. But if not, of course, us being good daughters and sons, we're trying to help out with all of that. It might land on someone like you who's most capable of handling it, which is usually us, right, as physicians. There's also something I didn't fully anticipate when all this stuff happens. It's the time cost, not just the financial cost, the actual operational burden of coordinating care. And of course, we want to do that for our loved ones. And I think we have a special advantage when it comes to being physicians to be able to do this. Of course, for our family and our parents or whoever it might be, we want to be there for them. But managing providers, navigating this whole world of insurance, being the point of contact for every decision, it can be a part-time job. Of course, that doesn't show up on your schedule, and it tends to arrive right when you're at your peak professionally, right when your own kids need you the most, and of course, right when you have the least margin to give. And that combination can be a lot. So here's why I want to talk about things personally. I mean, watching my parents and specifically my father go through some health challenges, it's changed, I'd say, 3 specific things about how I think about my own plan. The first is this concept of liquidity. I mean, I used to think about cash reserves, and liquidity is the ability to take your investments and just turn it into straight cash. I used to think about it in the standard way. I mean, a few months of expenses, an emergency fund is all you needed. But what I didn't appreciate is that the situations that maybe drain you the most, they aren't always the emergency situations. They're slow. It takes time. A parent's health declining over 2 to 3 years. Again, it doesn't feel like a crisis on any one given day, but it accumulates. It goes on. And if your capital is locked up in, let's say, retirement accounts or in illiquid assets where you can't pull that cash, you may not feel like you have the flexibility to respond when you need to. And that can cause a lot of stress. Having that cash accessible, I found matters more than I actually gave it credit for. And it's something I've had to think through. And I think a lot of physicians are probably in a situation where they're under liquid relative to where they are actually in life. And that's something to think about. The second thing is it changed the way I think about retirement accounts. I mean, we're disciplined savers. I think we all try to max out our 401ks. We are masters of deferring gratification. So we defer that income and we build those retirement balances over time. And I think that's a good thing to do. But there's a mental model a lot of us carry that says accumulate, just build until 65, then you can access it. But that model breaks down when life doesn't wait until 65. Maybe different things happen. Maybe you need to support a parent in your late 40s or early 50s, and you feel like a lot of your capital is locked behind that age threshold. Again, that 401k, it can be a useful tool, and I do contribute to mine, but again, that shouldn't be the whole plan. Building income that you can access now, like passive income that maybe doesn't require a tax event or a penalty to reach, that's a different kind of security. And situations like this are exactly why it matters.
Joining a mastermind group was a pivotal moment in my life. Within the first year, my income tripled, and by year 4, it had increased 20-fold. But the benefits went far beyond financial gains. I found myself surrounded by a network of like-minded individuals, forming connections that would become lifelong friendships. And the collective wisdom and support from this community played a crucial role in my success and personal development. From these amazing experiences, I felt a strong desire to create a similar community for my colleagues and peers, and that's you. That's why I launched Momentum MD Mastermind. People have been asking what this is. Momentum MD, or MMD for short, is designed to offer the same transformational powers in both personal and professional growth that I've experienced. It's not just about increasing your income. It's about creating this amazing environment where you can thrive, learn, and grow alongside other ambitious and supportive like-minded individuals. MMD provides a space where members can share their challenges, celebrate their victories, and push each other and keep each other accountable to reach new heights. It's about building a network of professionals who are committed to helping each other succeed. We focus on actionable strategies, accountability, and fostering an environment of continuous improvement. So whether you're looking to advance in your career, start a new venture, or simply find more balance and fulfillment in your life, MMD is here to support you every step of the way. Now, if this resonates with you in some way and you're interested in learning more, we'd love to hear from you. To learn more about the Momentum MD Mastermind and to pre-apply for a call with us, please visit MomentumMD.com. Let's see how we can help elevate your life to the next level. There are limited spots, so don't wait. Take the first step towards your transformation today. You won't regret it.
Now, the third thing that changed is probably the simplest thing. And honestly, it's the thing I think about the most. My father, at this point, he's turning 78 this year. And we took a few trips together recently. Some of them were bucket list type items. And we had some time to just chat. And at some point he said to me, "You're lucky. Like, take advantage of these times because you'll be wishing for more of them when you get to my age." And that honestly hit me hard. I've heard a lot of this wisdom, but when you hear it from your own parent, it usually hits harder. There's a version of financial planning that treats experiences as something you earn later in life. Travel when you're retired, slow down when the mortgage is paid off. And I absolutely don't believe in that version anymore. I mean, things change. Your health changes. You don't know when that happens. Your mobility, you can't even move around. I mean, how many of you bend over and you feel something in your back and next thing you're down for the next couple of days? I mean, that window when your parents are healthy and in a good position to travel and your kids still want to be around you and still want to be part of this, it's genuinely a finite period, a window of time. And I'm not saying that like as a motivational thing, it's just true. So what I've learned is build the trips now into the plan. Build your life now in a way that honors your family, honors those experiences, not as a luxury, but as a priority. So let's try to make this concrete and actionable because there are a few things you can do now that are much harder once you're inside a tough situation. The first is to actually understand your parents' financial situation. And I know a lot of families like avoid this conversation. It might be a little awkward to talk to your parents about it, but if you don't know what's there, like you can't plan around it. Simple question. Do they have long-term care coverage? What does their retirement income actually look like if they're still working or if they're retired? What is their plan? Have they thought about where they want to live as their needs change? Are they somewhere far away from you? Or would it be better if they live closer to you, especially if they need your help? Are they maybe planning to stay at home with a caregiver or maybe even some of these great retirement communities, assisted living, continuing care community, moving closer to family? These are all real options with very different costs attached to them. So the better options tend to be available, I've found, to people who plan for them early. By the time there's like a health event and that forces a situation and gets that conversation going, some of those doors are already closed. You can't get access to some of those insurances in place once your health has already declined. So I think it's really important to have the conversation before it becomes an urgent situation. It's uncomfortable, it can be awkward, but do it anyways. The second thing is to look honestly at your own liquidity. Again, not your net worth, which is more of a vanity metric, not your projected retirement balance, but how much of your capital can you actually get to right now without a penalty or without triggering a major tax event. And if that number makes you a little uncomfortable, like you should pay attention to that. Know where you're at today. And then the third thing is to keep building income that doesn't require you to show up. I know that's a common theme here at Passive Income MD, but it applies here in a very specific way. I mean, I think the physicians I know who've navigated the season most cleanly had income coming in that wasn't tied to their hours, meaning that when they needed to take time to be present for their family, it didn't cost them a week's pay. Or maybe it did, but it was okay because they had income coming in from elsewhere. That creates flexibility, that creates choice, and that is worth so much more than it looks like on paper. Now, I was sitting on a porch a few weeks ago at a ranch with a group of physicians, our Momentum MD mastermind, and it was late at night, over some drinks. We got to some serious conversations and it got pretty honest. I mean, someone brought up what it's like to manage a parent's care from a distance, fielding calls between patients. Someone talked about just the emotional weight of it while still trying to be present for their own kids. And at that time, I didn't really say too much. I was kind of letting people talk and I was sitting with my own version of the same thing. What struck me is that everyone in that group was successful, I'd say by any outside measure. I mean, they planned well. They were doing well as a physician. And most of them still were not ready for this particular season, especially when it came upon them really quickly. And again, that's not a failure. Nobody teaches you this stuff, but hopefully you're thinking about it now just by listening to this. And that's the whole point of building financial flexibility. It's all about you build it before you need it, not for some abstract future that may or may not come, but for the specific, unpredictable, very human moments that are coming for all of us. And so it's coming, whether we want it or not. So take care of the plan before it happens. And one more piece of advice, take the trip now, whether that's with your family, your loved ones that you've been thinking and putting off because you're too busy. You never know if you're going to get that opportunity. So make it happen. Appreciate you listening today. Have an amazing week and let's talk again soon.
Enjoy the show? Let me know by dropping a review in the podcast app you're listening to us in. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit subscribe. Join thousands of physicians who are also on this journey to creating their ideal lives through multiple streams of income. Learn more at our website, passiveincomemd.com. Thanks again for allowing me to be a part of your journey. See you next time.